Devils be scared.
Pick up Carey's on. I thought Carey's had a decent game.
Terrace did do. He made some good saves. He made some good saves.
But Vegas nearly had a Wembley screamer if it wasn't for Carey tipped over the bar. I want to say something quickly because I don't want to throw too much shade on Spurs because I think if we get Harry Kane in this side next year, we can do some big things. But they're going to want to keep him there. If they get top
congratulations on the Milk Cup. I'm sorry, but Harry Kane doesn't want that trophy. As much as you think how big it is, he doesn't want that. He's got.
That's fine, but you better make sure. You better make sure.
Wait. You can't hate on a player for having bigger and better things on his mind. The Carabao. As Terry said, you think about it for the 24, 48 hours, you celebrate, it's big, and then all of a sudden, no one cares about it.
That's because it's in the middle of the season.
You even forget. In 2-3 months, we're all going to forget who even won it because the trophy's that irrelevant. You can't tell us the last 5 winners because it's that irrelevant.
Yeah,
so
Man
again,
City.
you can try it up. You can speak for it what it is. For Eric Ten Hag, it's an amazing win. We can't take that away from him. For him to do it in his first season, well done. You cannot take that away from a manager to go out there and win a trophy. But let's not talk it up like it's a massive trophy, Neeks. I know what you're doing here. I know you're trying to big it up like it's something big, but it is the Milk Cup. If you're taking it away from just like the impact of having a team, we all see that will be good. The actual meaning of the trophy and what it's going to do for you outside of that.
I'm going to say this about the trophy. I'm going to say this about the trophy. Like, I've seen your team win it twice in my lifetime, and Spurs fans celebrated that tremendously in terms of like parties in the street, DVDs, T-shirts. It's the most in your lifetime because of your age. It's the 2 most famous moments that your club's had.
Jonathan Woodgate is a cult hero.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from you. And you should.
And guess what? No one talks about Jonathan.
And you should celebrate it. And you should celebrate it, right? And you should celebrate it. So in terms of the League Cup, of course, out of all 4 trophies that are possible to win each year, it is the smallest of those trophies. But I still want to win it because I want my club at the time I die to have the most League Cups, FA Cups, Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues. That's the aim, to be the best club in the country, the most successful club in the country. So it's one of. My first is not quenched because of a League Cup. And by the way, I wouldn't expect Harry Kane's first to be quenched by a League Cup because Bruno Fernandes, by the way, it's his 5th. People keep saying it's his first trophy. It's his 5th major trophy that he won yesterday. But he said it perfectly in the interview. I'm satisfied that I've got my first Man United trophy, but I want more. And I think the thing for Harry Kane is, I've said it before, he's a world-class footballer. There's no doubt about it. But what are these bigger things that he's aiming for? I'd love to know what he's at Spurs. What is he aiming for?
I was going to ask, George, what's he aiming for? What's the big stuff?
I mean, we're still in trophies this season, are we not?
All right.
So his aim is very clear, to go out there and win the trophy.
The Champions League.
We're still in the FA Cup. We've got the 5th round to play on Wednesday against Sheffield away. Easy draw. It'll be done. We'll be in the quarterfinals next week, and then we can speak.
So you're confident.
It's quite obvious. Like we're aiming with Conte.
I get you say it's obvious. I'm looking for you to be really specific. Like, so you think you're going to win the FA Cup or the Champions League?
That's our aim, is to go out there and win the FA Cup. I don't know why everyone's smiling. I've said on this show pre-season, and this is why me and Terry had the bet about who would win a trophy first, because I said I think Tottenham are going to win a trophy this year. I said Tottenham are going to go out there and get the League Cup or FA Cup because we need to get one of them to build on. Just like Man United now got the FA Cup, we're aiming League Cup. We're aiming for the FA Cup. That's what we're aiming for. We have been aiming for that all season. If we get top 4, whether we don't get top 4, an FA Cup's going to be a success for us, and that's what we aim for. And that's what we want. So we're going to go out there and try and get the trophy. Of course, there's a few more rounds to be played, so we can go round by round, but we're going through to the next round regardless.
The issue was, I'm not bothered about you saying you're going to win the FA Cup. My issue was you saying that Harry Kane wouldn't take a Carabao Cup. That would be like a homeless person saying, no, I don't want that meal because I want something better. You've got nothing to build off anyway, so just take what you can get.
Sorry. I think what's going on here. Sorry to interject. I think there's a delay, George. You're like delayed behind us. I think you're not. Okay. You're hearing us later. That's why. I think that's sometimes why we laugh. I asked you a question and it was silent for about 5 seconds. I think a literal delay. Listen, you guys could go on to win it, and it's absolutely fair. I think for me though, I look at a player like Harry Kane, and I thought about him yesterday when I saw Veghorst looking at the trophy, the way he was staring into the crowd. My feeling was this. If you turned around to Veghorst now and said you could have scored a hat-trick in the final, but not won it, he'd go, nah, give me the trophy. I just think this is the thing with Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane's never won one, so he doesn't know. Oh, George ain't even here right now. George is back. Here we go. I kind of feel like with Harry Kane, he might sit there and talk about winning isn't everything. Trophies aren't the most important thing. I think once you've tried it, then you know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a bit like your preference in life. I always remember my little brother saying, I don't know why you get so fixated on women, Terry. Said, wait until you've had a go. Do you know what I mean? Then it's like you understand why there's a fixation because it's lovely. They smell nice. They're soft skin and everything. Do you know what I mean? So now, I think once Harry Kane tastes the trophy, he'll get a hunger for it like never before. Do you know what I'm saying? But let's see what happens.
Spurs better win. Listen, Spurs better win a trophy this year. I mean, Kane might sign a contract if you get top 4 because he makes bad decisions in life. So I can't stop that. But if no, George, I'm being very, very serious. If Kane stays at Spurs and you don't win a trophy this year, and no one I say stay in terms of signing a new contract, because he might run it down to his last year, whatever. It's a bad decision because what are you actually signing up to? You're signing up to score goals. You can score goals anywhere. Or you want to break the Premier League record? We'll sign for another Premier League club. Like, let's be honest, the goals are great. I think Harry Kane is the best striker in the Premier League. I've said that before, after, during Haaland's great runs, whatever. But when all is said and done, when players' careers is all done and dusted, you want to have something to show for it, other than just golden boots, other than just a plaque of a record that may not last. Alan Shearer broke the record, and before he passes away, that record's going to be gone. So it no longer exists. Harry Kane, if you win a trophy, whatever that trophy is, of course there's different rankings, but if you win a trophy, that is there forever. So if Spurs don't win a trophy this year, or don't look like seriously actually challenging for, let's say, getting to another Champions League final, I think it would be a bad decision for him to sign a new contract. And I'm sure, surely as a Spurs, I get you're a Spurs fan, but surely you understand why I would say that's a bad decision.
100%. I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't understand. Like, signing a 6-year deal was probably a bad decision on his end. But again, like, this is the decision that he's got to make. I'm not Harry Kane, so I can't tell him whether it's a good idea to stay or not. But until the end of the season, like I said, we won't really know. You have to evaluate that at the end of the season because we don't know where Tottenham's going to end up right now. We don't know if Tottenham's going to have Conte still in at the end of the season. So there's a lot of variables, but I still think Harry Kane's going to stay. I think that he wants to win that trophy with Spurs because whether it's an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, or one of these little trophies, I think it will just mean more to him than if he won it at Spurs rather than any other club. No, that's what I think. I think that he's just going to keep going at Spurs until he wins a trophy.
I make that make sense. What I will say is this: the Carabao Cup, it's the smallest trophy you can win in England, but I don't think it's small. Maybe if your team's won massive Champions Leagues, lots of Champions League, lots of Premier League, it does feel a little bit smaller. But I think to a club Tottenham size, the Carabao Cup is gargantuan. Stop it. It is. It is.
Stop it. Because just like you said, the team that's won all those trophies, we've won all those trophies you spoke about, bar in the Champions League. And a League Cup is just not one that I personally, as a Tottenham fan, look up to winning. If we did win it, like you said, I'm going to celebrate it for the 24, 48 hours, but I ain't going to sit here and parade it for the next
See you on Tottenham High
or years. I'm not going to sit here and parade it for the next year or two saying, oh, yeah, we won the Carabao Cup like Arsenal fans do with FA Cups. I'm not going to sit here and do that. And I'm pretty sure, Neeks, you aren't going to do it either. I don't think we're going to hear you talking about Carabao Cup over the next few years.
Well, listen, I already said that if, as it stands now, if we end the season with only the Carabao Cup, I'm not going to be like 10 arg out. No way. But I'll be slightly disappointed because of the position he's got us in. Like, obviously, our aims are always higher.